That is New York City ambiance.
Shut up!
Yeah.
Shut up!
I'm walking here. I don't know if you can... Oh, wait, where's the camera? There it is. I don't know if people out there can hear, but there's a line of cars.
It may not be distracting them, but it's distracting us.
Oh, yeah. Because we wanna immerse ourselves in a really cool foresty
That's
setting.
one of my favorite New York things to do is just tell people to shut up out the window.
I know.
I love doing that. Shut up! I love that.
And that's my favorite thing in a movie.
Shut up! What the... Love that.
And then you hear a cat. My favorite thing in movies is when you hear like someone being like, "I love you," and then you're like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, Coming to America has a great scene.
Yep.
Love that.
Also a bunch of Disney movies for some reason. They don't say the F word, obviously.
No, they don't curse that much in Disney movies.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's a literal there's some incident happening outside.
Yeah.
And obviously the solution to it is just to lean on your car horn in a residential neighborhood. What else would you do?
Yeah.
This will solve the problem. I'm just glad someone's doing it because, obviously we don't have cars, we don't have car horns in here, but gosh, there's concerned citizens out there that's doing what needs to be done to resolve whatever this is, leaning on their car horns while people are recording.
You seem like you have opinions on this.
What are you doing? It's just I'm unhappy. It's just like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
We're all unhappy. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
I know. But here you can't really do...
No.
It usually resolves.
I'm so curious, what this is now. I want to see what's happening.
They have been making the 31st Avenue, the one that's right here. Just doxed myself, by the way, but they have made that into a bike lane. So it's like a one-way street now, which I love.
Great.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Of course, every racist in Astoria hates it because they hate, they love their cars and they hate the
immigrants.
immigrants.
That's what everyone who owns a car and drives often in New York is racist.
That's what I think, except my one friend. Oh, actually, she might be racist now that I think about it.
I was in a social studies class in high school, and the teacher presented us this scenario. And it was talking about this Western Hemisphere tribe that were devoted to this beast of burden called the rack. And it was just they had all this, they attributed all this importance to it. They had religious significance and the whole culture was built around it. And he's saying that these racks, they're these horrible creatures, they smell bad and they pollute the environments and but people still had to have them and they treated them all and everything. And then at the end of it, it's just you see, it's a car. The people is us, and it was yeah. So I always thought about that. I don't know. This is a big country with not great infrastructure. A lot of people have to have a car.
Yeah.
But if you don't, I think the culture, the entire society is way too focused on personal automobile ownership.
Yeah.
And I wish we could move. How much nicer would this city be if we had fewer roadways devoted to cars and devoted to people?
I went to Long Island City, our favorite neighborhood, where we had lunch so often.
We did.
It was a different time. It was before children and a lot of other things. But anyway, then they closed that whole area off because there was some sort of bike competition the other weekend. And so there was no traffic there. And I got in. I got in before they closed everything off. And I was like, what is... it was so nice. It was I walked around with the girls, obviously not afraid of dying at every moment.
Yeah,
but,
you have to look... have your head on a swivel, you're being hunted.
Yeah, because
by
people run
megafauna.
People run red lights here, as if it's a guideline.
Oh yeah.
They're like, oh, this certainly doesn't apply to me.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people because you're not supposed to turn right on a red light here. People will do it.
Yep.
And so you just always have to be careful, or else it could be flattened.
Oh yeah. It's this. My brothers came and sister came to visit last weekend because my brother is turning 40. So it was the first time. I
saw the pictures.
Yeah, it was awesome because it was the first time he was in. My younger brother, who's turning 40, it was his, but he's my older brother. You get it. He has never been to America or outside.
Oh, wow.
I think he's been to Thailand, and that's the only place he's ever been to. And so this was a lot of first things for him, seeing but obviously I took him to Times Square, and his eyes were like, wow. This is so cool, skyscrapers, wow. And I remember that joy because I felt similarly the first time I visited New York.
Yeah.
But then I took them to my favorite places after that because I'm like, all right, we're done with Times Square forever.
Yeah.
We don't have to do this ever again.
It's amazing how quickly that thrill will wear off for people who live here.
And and so I took them to like Greenpoint, some parts of Williamsburg,
nice.
And they were like, we were walking around, and I'm like, see, isn't this nice? And they were both like, yeah, but we have this in Europe. Like, why? I want to go back to like the crazy big stuff. Like, and I'm like, you don't have this in Europe. Europe took this from New York. I would try to be like the hipster, for example.
Right.
Because there were so many hipsters, like, that now it seems like it's a copycat of Stockholm, because Stockholm copied New York.
Right, yeah.
So it becomes like, almost like, are they being sarcastic right now? And I'm like, no, these are the OGs.
Yeah,
this is where it started.
You owe us everything.
Exactly.
See, that's how you know you're a real New Yorker now.
Yeah.
It's because you have that provincial arrogance that we all earn.
Yes, I've definitely earned it at this point. Although I haven't earned Mets yet. That's what I'm working on this year.
They're having a great. We have to go. They're having a great season.
Going next weekend.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Cool.
End of May. Yeah, I'm very excited. It's also like such a fun thing to bring your kids to.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. But anyway, New York. Setting aside New York City, we have an adventurous kid.
We do.
We have done 2 episodes so far. It's been a while because we've been sick. You've been sick.
I was sick.
And I've been having allergies.
Yeah.
But that was only this week. But and so I tried to actually listen back a little bit on where we ended up. But you will have to remind me if there's something, if you remember something, like you actually said this, then, great. But if you don't remember anything, then we'll be in the same boat.
As a rule, I don't remember much.
No, same. Let's see here. We're still recording. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, that's you. That's me. Okay, so the last thing that I remember was actually a dream. You had a dream, a vision, after you've been spending some time with the tavern keeper and his daughter, getting a little drunk. You got Mahlert. Do you remember this? Does this ring a bell? Yeah. You got Mahlert, and you went home. You went to the hotel of this cute little town called Bönham, and had a weird dream of, your mouth filled with sand and seeing weird creatures in the horizon, and then you woke up still feeling that taste of Mahlert. But that was the literal last thing that happened.
I'd much rather have a mouthful of sand.
Yeah, that's honestly true. But you wake up from that and you're in this hotel of this town, and you did talk a little bit with the tavern keeper. Not sure like how many of the clues you got from that of what was going on, but he seemed like they didn't love the new expansion. Do you remember anything else from that conversation? No. You were drunk on the Mahlert.
Oh yeah.
There was
I'm just coming off of a lengthy sea voyage.
Yes, and you were talking to him, discussing a little bit about who this person you're gonna meet, Jarl, he is, and he is a businessman from the south. Mm-hmm. You presume Stockholm, because everyone, these people feel like everyone south of a certain river called Ångermanälven is like at Stockholm. But it's like half of Sweden.
Right. Okay.
It's a little bit like, I don't know, the Mississippi. Everyone like right of Mississippi. Oh yeah, like you guys do it. Like something is the South, right. Even if it's not.
The Mason-Dixon line.
Yes. But it's like they don't like Stockholm.
They don't like Stockholm.
No one outside Stockholm likes Stockholm.
They don't trust Stockholmers.
It's like they think they're snobs.
Snobs. Okay.
Snobs, rich folks from Stockholm, and that's kind of still true.
Okay.
I mean, even I feel like that. And I'm basically from that area. But yeah, so you wake up.
As a Spaniard, I'd probably have no opinion.
No, you're like, you're right. It's Stockholm is stupid.
Stockholm is very bad people. I don't like them at all.
And everyone's like, wow, he brought in so much racism.
I can't wait to get out of the woods and start hunting Stockholmers.
Yeah, but before that, you killed 2 goons. But this was in Bavaria. You remember that, right?
Yeah,
You got a mission to go up here and kill someone.
Right.
That's like what Mr. Burt gave you,
right.
your agent. So you're on a clue gathering mission at this point, and you're supposed to meet Jarl. But you wake up and you're in this hotel. There's you remember from your observation yesterday that there was a library on the premises that you could potentially read up on the local stuff in if you want.
Yeah, I wake up, head probably pounding, and I go into, there's like a little washroom or something. So like pour myself some water, like splash on my face, rinse my mouth out, and look with trepidation at my own face in a mirror. And yeah, I'm gonna like try to get dressed, like make myself presentable, and go down and to this library and just start doing some research.
So it's a relatively small and cute library. You find, after a while, I'm gonna give you this. You find an old paper that covers the building of the saw, which they refer to as this lumber mill or sawmill. I don't know really the difference between a sawmill and a lumber mill. They make lumber.
They're the same thing.
That's what according to Google, was what I thought too. It's located in the little village of Norra, about 2 hours away with horse.
Okay.
And Norra is like, oh right, that's where I was supposed to meet Jarl. Is what you remember now.
Right.
Or Jarl is the English way of saying that. His name is Jarl, but Swedish pronunciation is Jarl. Anyway.
Yeah, of course I'd say Jarl.
Jarl.
Yeah.
And roll... also, when you're looking through things...
This is not my specialty, this research.
Exactly. This is not your... I think you have like 1 in learning or something like that.
Yeah, right? I don't have anything in learning.
I
have 1 in learning. I don't have anything in investigation.
Okay.
But my logic is okay.
Okay. So maybe as you're fiddling through your papers...
I also don't speak Swedish. I don't know if that's going to be a hindrance in the Swedish
library.
library.
I have suspension of disbelief for this particular one. It would be hilarious.
Oh, there's a whole Spanish section. This is perfect.
Yeah. Maybe you'll find this sawmill tourist guide in English. For some reason, someone was ready to... Or you talk to the librarian and she may be able to translate it some stuff. Like, oh yes, we have the sawmill. It's crazy.
Okay.
But then a simple drawing of a man falls out of a book that you're flipping through.
Okay.
And you see that the illustrator's name, just says Hampe Svanberg. And on the drawing it says Eric Daniels. And it's a simple sketch of what appears to be a map with several markings on it. But also this drawing of... It's basically a little man with a hat. I'll show you the actual drawing.
Oh.
It's a hut, and there's a little man with a hat. And
that's Eric Daniels.
Yeah, Eric Daniels.
Okay.
Now you can roll investigation.
Okay. And it's 3 dice for my logic, 1 for the... Okay. So that's...
0 successes.
No successes.
So, yeah, you're just like, okay, that's curious. And you bring the little drawing with you, thinking, this might be interesting. And then you don't really find anything else in the library.
I think I'm probably just going to head out to the sawmill.
Yeah.
I'm going to go, if I can get directions from... the front desk or whatever,
Funny you should ask for directions, because Kerstin, the young woman who was a barmaid, the tavern keeper's daughter, is waiting for you downstairs. And she greets you with a basket of cinnamon buns. You remember her being very enamored by you, because you were a traveler, a foreigner.
Yep.
And
incredibly handsome.
I was worried that you were still cross with us for giving you the malert yesterday, and so here's a peace offering, and she gives you a basket of cinnamon buns.
Oh, this is lovely, more than I expected.
Thank
Certainly, this act of giving me this horrible poison is one of the worst things that anyone has ever done to me in my life, and I've been to war. Oh. But these cinnamon buns, this more than makes up for this. Thank you so much.
She's a little taken aback. Did not expect that. She doesn't understand sarcasm either because she's Swedish. So she's just like, well, then this is gonna sound even worse when I ask, because it's another favor. I was wondering if I could come with you to Nora. I can show you the way. It's hard to get there, but of course I understand if you're still angry.
No.
Stupid buns. I mean, of course they.
No, of course, no. The buns more than make up for any anger. How I could not stay angry at such a charming, lovely woman as yourself. Of course.
Ooh, she blushes.
But there is. I am only concerned for your safety. I don't know what might await us in this place. I don't want to expose you to any danger.
Oh, why would it be dangerous?
Well, you are more familiar with this country than I am. If you do not think there will be danger, then yes,
no.
Of course I would.
Well, the only problem is, yes, well, there's a bit steep climbing involved to get there, so we will have to lead the horses occasionally. But the forest, yes, it can be a little bit thick in certain places, so that's why I don't want you to get lost. But I'm happy to take you there. But I will not say. I would be surprised if there's any dangerous animals or anything like that.
Well, if that is how you feel, I would very much value having the companionship on the journey, of course.
My father tells me that you're meeting with Jarl at the sawmill in Nora.
Yes, I'm supposed to meet with this man. Yes, I show her the pictures. I say, by the way, before we leave, does this picture mean anything to you? It fell out of one of the books I was looking at in the library.
She takes the picture. Oh, this is it. This is Erik Daniels. He's a local legend around here. And then she tells you a little bit briefly that he was like born in the early 1800s. He's someone who tends to walk around the forest from hut to hut. He has like a little like path that he walks. But a very Christian man. Works as a farmhand when he can, but otherwise he sleeps in the forest and has been for the past 60 years. He seems like he's quite kind. I've never met him personally, but it's said that it's good luck when Erik has come to visit. I think Hampe, who made the drawing, he's one of the few people who's actually seen him alive. But he said that you can hear him before he arrives. You see, he sings very beautifully. But I also think that he's a bit of a dimwit.
Oh yes, all right. He is a stupid man who sings, who lives in the forest. I see. Now I'm getting a picture of this. He sounds like quite the character.
Yes, he's but harmless. I believe that the new people, Jarl, they believe that he is the reason why things have gone poorly, because people really love Erik around here, but they see anything as a threat. Oh, sorry, I'm being inappropriate. I should not talk ill about your boss. I apologize.
No, I don't care about him. You can say whatever you like.
Well, Erik is harmless as far as I know. I hope you get to see him, but I doubt he keeps him to himself most of the time.
Well, perhaps we will encounter him on our journey.
Yeah. Shall we go?
Yes, we should go.
And she has the horses ready. I can have the horses ready within hours. I wrote here, but fuck that. Let's just skip to the two of you on horseback through this pretty dramatic landscape. Tell me about your adventures, Senor Alarcon.
Oh, well, I'm not much one for telling stories, but I have been in many places, both here in Europe, and most a while ago I was in North America, and it was...
You have been to America?
I have been to America, yes.
I have relatives in Minnesota.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Oh, that is very interesting.
Yes, I wish to one day go. But it means usually that you can't return. So that's why, I don't know, I don't want to leave my father behind.
Oh, I see. Yes, I have heard that it is a beautiful place with many lakes, but very hard winters. I can see why perhaps your people would congregate there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people actually going to America lately. Not so many people from up here, but definitely from the south. There's a drought down there. It's a lot of famine. At least according to travelers who come up here, they tell me it's bad.
I see. Well, this land is lovely, though.
Thank you.
It's a very peaceful place, it seems.
Everything's very peaceful and wonderful, except for these tiny little mosquitoes and midges. They're just like... Kerstin does not seem to be as bothered by it because she's probably immune by now. Yeah. You reach a clearing after walking through this uneven, treacherous ground. And to the right you see a wide marshland. And with the sun rays, it's quite beautiful at first, but roll vigilance. Vigilance.
Not great at that. Oh, I got one success.
Nice. At first you think it's just your own imagination, but the closer you look, you definitely see these strange balls of light dancing above it. And fireflies is not a thing in this part of the world, so this is something else. And they're changing in size. Like, they look very ghost-like.
Is this anything that I would recognize at all?
You can roll learning.
I will do that. One success.
So Kerstin exclaims, "Oh, it's the Nora light. My mother always said that those are restless souls of people who've been murdered." And you can see that she grabs her cross, but since you roll learning, you know that this could be gas from marshlands.
Right.
Occasionally rising to the surface and then igniting, creating these light illusions.
Yeah.
And this is based on a true story from this area that they call it Irrsken, which is like, they think it's very steeped in folklore, but creating these very irregular, cool light things on the surface.
It's like the will-o-wisps.
Yeah. You continue on. Kerstin continues to talk your ear off about her future plans, and she weirdly mentions, "We should go. We should go to North America. We should see this. We should maybe you can show me Spain." You know, she's very buddy with you already.
Yep. I'm making secret plans to abandon her at the earliest possible junction.
Eventually, you get closer and closer to Nora, but Kerstin stops as she hears something, and you recognize it immediately as the cuckoo. You know, the
I love birds.
However, it comes from the south, and she tells you a rhyme in Swedish, and then it translates it to "South cuckoo means death."
Oh shit.
This is a bad sign. And you move on, and you reach Nora is how you say it. Nora. Once you arrive, it's a small, quaint village, not as busy as Bönhamn, hardly anyone there. Mm-hmm. There's a small church on the hill, and next to it runs a little river. Very typical sight of Sweden. You've probably seen like 100 churches since you arrived. Not since you arrived, but since you traveled through Sweden.
Yep.
Kerstin points towards a building in the center that seems a little bit more official than the others and says that I would assume Jarl is waiting for you there. And let me know if there's anything else I can help you with. I will go and see my brother, but maybe we can meet up after you're done with Jarl?
Yes, of course. Perhaps we could have an evening meal together if you are not occupied with your family.
Of course. I'm sure my brother would love to have you over. And she kneels. And
that would be lovely.
Yeah. And she's off, and you are now standing in Nora.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna head towards where she thinks Jarl is, so I can talk to him.
Yep. Jarl greets you almost immediately, and you immediately recognize who it is. He's a very well-dressed man with a large mustache, dressed very properly for the time era. As
he looks out of place in this village. Would he
Yes.
Yeah.
Almost. I would say it's stereotypically out of place, rich,
Yeah.
And I want him to also, just now thinking about it, he's probably eating a large chunk of meat that no one else would be able to afford.
I'm picturing Hearst in Deadwood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yes. Senor Alarcon. I've heard so much about you.
Hello, Mr. Young. I have traveled a long way to see you.
Yes, thank you so much for making the journey.
Of course.
I will obviously will be properly rewarded for this. Have you had any troubles in your traveling?
No, it has been mostly uneventful, apart from an attempted poisoning last night by one of your countrymen.
My goodness, he shall be facing the consequences immediately.
No, it is all right. It was ameliorated by the gift of buns, so I'm not concerned.
Yeah.
I am no longer possessed with the vengeance of 1,000 suns. Forget it if I have forgotten it ever happened, except that I keep mentioning it.
He still looks concerned. Are you sure I can take care of him?
No, please. It is my business. I do not mean to burden you with it.
No.
May I have a seat with you?
No, of course. You want anything? Beers?
Yes.
Food?
What time of day is it? Noon?
Yeah, it would probably take you 2 hours, so yeah. Right lunchtime.
Perhaps a cerveza would not be out of order at this time of day? I say a beer in your language.
Yes. En öl, tack, he says, and a beer shows up.
I think he's an alcoholic. Keeps drinking.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right, let's get down to business. You obviously know why you're here. It's a delicate matter. You can trust the people around here, and it's 2 of his goons standing next to the door. Everyone else leaves the room. Not that there were that many people. It was basically a waitress. These villagers, they're driving me insane. They refuse to see reason. I've offered them so much money, and I've offered them prosperity, and they still refuse to let me expand the business of the sawmill. But we're in the future, man. No, but we are standing at the threshold of a revolution, an industrial revolution, and frankly, I want to make them rich, and I want to get richer myself. Is that so bad? I don't think it's that bad. Is it bad?
To what do you attribute this opposition to your sawmill and your plans?
Religion. It's always religions. They're afraid that they will ruin the agreement, the gods' agreement with nature or whatever. I don't really fully understand it, but they feel like they have reached a balance, is what they say. I sent my business partner, Per-Olof. I sent him to take care of it, to sort of force the issue. And they butchered him. They killed him.
The villagers?
Yes. Or they refused to admit that they had anything to do with it, but obviously he was butchered by them. Or one of them.
Remind me, in this world, the existence of like the paranormal is widely known and accepted, or
No.
is this is a new thing?
It's absolutely not accepted at all.
Okay.
So you can't even you would be facing witch trials if you brought it up.
Okay.
So you're like you have some contacts, but this is like your origin story. So you might feel very alone about the paranormal stuff.
Right. Like I might have experienced it myself.
Yeah.
But like it's not.
Yeah,
common.
and
Okay.
Kerstin, even if she brought up those ghosts and those stories, it comes from a very Christian lens.
Yeah.
She would never admit to like anything beyond that. So if you would been like, oh yeah, those are totally ghosts, confirmed actually, and then she would probably be like, what?
Allow me to be blunt, as I know you are a busy man and that your time is valuable, as is mine. What do you wish me to do? Do you wish me to investigate this murder? Do you wish me to advance your cause? What do you wish of me?
I wish you to take out whoever it is that's sabotaging for me, put some fear into them. And obviously I want you to help me go forth with this business venture. And once we've gotten rid of all the threats and all the sabotage, I'm sure, they will not have a choice. I've heard rumors that this strange man that everyone seems to be enamored with, perhaps he's the cause for all this. I have not seen him. I don't even know if he exists, but...
Would this be Eirik Daniels by any chance?
Ah, yes, you've heard of him too.
I have heard the rumors.
Yeah, but he seems like an old man walking around. But frankly, that's where I would start to see if there is any truth to that. But I'm also wondering if it's one of the villagers and they're just protecting, each other. But finding out who's killed my business partner, and then either we put them, through the official channels, or, if you can take care of it a little bit more discreetly than that, would be great.
Well, I will do what I can.
Yes. My men can take you to the sawmill if you would like to take a look at it.
Yes, I would like to see the site of this crime, if possible.
Perfect.
Chug my beer.
Very well.
So I'd be more than happy to leave now.
Yes, of course. The two men, they escort you out. There's a general store, similar to Valentine in Red Dead Redemption.
Oh yeah.
It's like a similar town to that.
I want to go in there, buy a new fancy hat.
Yes, but you can, if you want to get anything before you head up to the sawmill. I forget what your equipment is currently. It's a
right now I have a compass. I've got my rifle, a saber, and my Bowie knife.
Yeah.
So I think I would like to. I'd like to go to the general store, and I'd like to buy some tobacco. Mm-hmm. I would like to buy some provisions, like some dried fruit or meat or whatever, and I would like to get a bedroll.
Yeah.
And a magnifying glass, if I could get one.
Yes. So he's gonna cover all the expenses for this. So I'm just gonna actually give it to you. Normally we would have to roll resource things, but all this is, you're not asking for anything crazy.
Yeah.
The magnifying glass, I think that has a in-game.
I imagine it gives me a
bonus.
Investigation bonus or something.
Glass, a magnifying glass. It gives you a +1 to investigation.
There we go.
Yeah, and everything else like regular camping gear.
Yeah,
is fine. Very well. They lead you up to the saw the sawmill. It's not very far away. It's still through this pretty thick forest. Mosquitoes are still relentless. And you notice that several men, built like mountains, are working at this sawmill. And then there's like some other scrawny men with weapons, and you assume that they belong to the Southerners. Hired gun, basically. You get a sense that there's an awkward tension between the two groups of men, the workers versus Jarl's men. Most of the men look busy and suspicious when you arrive, wondering who you are.
I am going to seek out like a foreman, whoever's in charge, and just ask to be shown the site of the murder, or how the body was found, where it was found, all that.
He puts his arms, he crosses his arms over his fat belly. I'm thinking about my uncle. He just looks you up and down. It's like, you're one of Jarl's.
Yes, I was hired by Mr. Jarl, yes.
Well, let me just tell you, we have nothing to do with it. Just want that to be clear. We have nothing to do with it. All the problems started when they arrived.
Who is they?
Jarl and his entourage.
I see.
They were the ones who brought the devil with them. And I'm not taking you to a murder site. No, sir. No.
Well, perhaps if you lack the courage to visit it, perhaps you could assign someone who has a little more of a spine to do so?
Ooh, roll manipulation.
Manipulation. Oh, I'm not good at that.
Well, you can try it. And the worst thing that can happen.
I got a success.
He's just like, fine, and then he walks over to one of Jarl's men. They also don't want to go to the murder site. They're like, I don't feel comfortable, but I can show you if you have a map or something. And you do.
I do.
Yeah. Perhaps you can go there, but I'm not going in there. This forest is weird.
Well, if you are afraid of goblins and fairies, I will go by myself. I don't need any help or protection.
What do you think, there are goblins and fairies in the forest?
Oh, certainly. I have heard this is a very dangerous, haunted place.
Oh my goodness. And he takes out the map, and then he's like, wait a second, are you making fun of me?
No, not at all, my friend.
Because it seemed like, all right.
No.
And then he points to the map. It's a hike, so it's pretty far away, and perhaps a part of you is wondering, why the hell did this murder site? What did this guy do?
What's this guy doing this far away from?
But they're like, well, Godspeed, and.
All right, so I bust out my compass and start trying to navigate my way, orienteer my way towards where I think this happens.
The compass also gives you a +2.
+1, I think.
Yeah. Yes, +1 using learning to find the way. Yep. You enter the forest, and immediately you're struck with this sensation that something's watching you. And you have no idea what it is, though. But as you walk,
It's Yoda.
It's Yoda, yeah. Roll learning.
Okay. With the compass?
Yes.
2 successes.
Oh, damn. Yeah, you walk, and you find your way. You're not, like, getting sidetracked. And as you walk, you sort of see on the map there are, like, tiny little crosses. And it almost always corresponds with these huts. And so you're realizing this is Eric Daniels' path.
Oh. Did he make... I think he made the map?
That's what you're figuring out right now. Like, this is interesting. And it seems like it's following a very circular circle. According to the map.
This is like his circuits.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as you move on, because you gotta... so you rolled so well, you get more sense that this forest is not necessarily evil, but old. Old, you can almost hear whispers. There's a tug in your belly. Yeah, and you're like, vomiting on it. No.
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 There's a rat in my stomach.
You should not have that beer. No. The buns have poisoned me.
Poisoned again.
Exactly. Can you
I
imagine?
have to stop drinking everything that's offered to me in this accursed place.
This tug, you have it's this sense that you should stray off the path. There's like it's a tug.
But Gandalf said that I should not stray.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's gonna trust his gut, literally, and like move in the direction that it seems to be pulling him.
Yeah. Roll observation.
Okay. It's not terrible. 1 success.
Damn.
Man, I have great luck today.
You start following your gut, and you almost immediately realize this is a trap.
Oh, okay.
Upon failure, you would not have figured that out. So at least you're aware. And you proceed with caution, therefore. Ready. Maybe you want to ready.
I have my rifle out.
Right.
Yeah.
Eventually you reach a small creek, and as you perhaps pretend... Oh wait, what do you want to do? Yeah, you reach a small creek.
Yeah, I'll reach the creek and I'll actually, you know what? I won't have my rifle out. I will have my knife at the ready. And I'm going to not let on that I have any suspicions that anything's wrong, and I'm going to come to the creek and like sort of bend down and like take some drinks, like, you know, wash myself a little bit, and while I'm like getting an opportunity with some open ground to like take a look at what's around me to see if I can get a sense of like where this feeling is coming from for me.
Yeah, because you're being so observant and have these like battle tactics in your mind. You sense this person before they sneak up on you. And I'm gonna give you a chance to tackle them.
I'll take it.
Yeah, so a close combat roll.
Okay. Okay.
But you you sense this shadow, and they think that they are sneaking up on you. And little do they know.
Turn around. And... Yes!
Oh my God. Yeah.
2 successes.
Yeah. Very smoothly, you turn
have the
around.
knife out. Take the Bowie knife to their throat as I take them to the ground.
Yeah. And it's a naked woman.
Oh, sorry. Forgive me, ma'am.
She yelps, and you have your reaction to you're doing exactly what you're doing. You're putting this knife against this person's throat, but you're noticing that you're also like maybe cupping her breast. No, but like you're.
I'm sure this is more awkward of a situation than I had anticipated.
Exactly, which I love. But
so he turns away and he's just like, "Madam, I'm sorry."
Yeah, you're so taken aback by her nakedness and her beauty, but then when you take a second look, you notice that her eyes are completely black.
Oh.
This is not a human.
Okay. So I kill her.
Yeah. She's alien looking but beautiful. And she smiles and giggles a little bit at your reaction. You tricked me, man. Not many men have done that before.
And I'm flabbergasted. This is a lot of information I'm being flooded with.
Yeah.
And he's just like, he just like, when he sees that it's a nude woman, he starts to like lower the blade, but then he sees her eyes and he's just like, brings it back, and he's just like, what are you?
Roll learning. There's a lot of rolls, but I think we've gotten a comment that we haven't had enough rolls.
No.
Well, you see that she has hoofs instead of feet.
Oh.
The skin might know who what this could be. It's not a Greek mythology, but
it's not a satyr.
No, but a forest nymph of some kind. This would be your best Mediterranean guess.
Right. Okay.
But you don't know exactly. You don't know how to deal with her. But since you did so well with the tackling, I'm gonna still give you that a sense of you feel like if I can talk to this person. Like I don't have to necessarily try to kill her.
Okay.
You can all. Do you have gifts for me? For every gift, I'll answer one question.
Sort of warily, he sort of stands up and like gets off of her and like backs away and lowers the knife but still has it in his hand. He says like, well, I have dried fruit. And he gets some apricot.
Yeah.
I don't know what you like.
Animalistically, she takes it and starts eating it in like a very rodent way.
Oh. I have more. I don't know if you are vegetarian, but I have meat as well. I hand her some jerky.
She takes the jerky too. 2 questions.
What is your deal?
I am a woodwife.
An ant wife?
A woodwife.
Woodwife.
You know that these are ancient. I'm just gonna say it because it's more fun for you to know what it is. A woodwife. A woodwife are these ancient folklorish Swedish creatures.
This is a real like Swedish folklore thing?
They're called skogsrå. They are beautiful women in the front and then like hideous tree bark at the back. So they can turn around and then disappear. Like they lure men into the forest. And I was terrified of the woodwife as a kid. I remember seeing because I remember there was like a children's story about like the woodwife would lure you into the forest and then just she would turn into this horrifying tree monster suddenly. And I remember thinking I saw it in like my curtains. I'm like, it's turning into a tree monster.
No.
You know? So I thought she was very scary, but obviously because I didn't get the whole sensual thing, I'm like, why would anyone be lured in?
Why would anyone follow this horrible creature into the forest?
But you know that they're not necessarily evil or like mean-spirited.
But dangerous.
They're they can be very dangerous, and they're also very protective of the forest. And in order to banish them, you have to burn down her main tree, the sort of tree that she spawned from.
Okay, so it's like similar to like dryads.
Oh, for sure. I think it's the exact same family.
Yeah.
I think it might be the exact same creature, but just different.
Yeah, it's probably the same like Germanic kind of root.
Sydney did a similar thing. Like I have this like Man of River we've revealed it already what it is, but she was like, oh yeah, it's like the fiddler, the Irish legend of like, and then she explained the same thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what it is for. Yeah. God damn it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
I can tell that the folklore spreads through the world. That was the first question. She doesn't say all of that, like, I have bark on my back.
Right, but I might see it. Do you know anything about the man that was killed in this forest? How many days ago, weeks ago?
This must have been, what can it be? Like probably since he asked for help, so probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
it was a while ago.
So I give her the date, the day.
Yeah.
It's like how many days ago it was. It's like, do you have any knowledge of what happened to this man?
I killed him.
All right. Mystery solved. I will go home to Spain. Am I allowed a follow-up question to one of my 2 questions? And it's not this question.
It's an additional one, in addition to the one I'm asking right now with these words.
What gifts do you have?
Oh, okay.
Human.
Well, I've... Oh, fuck.
It could be a song.
Oh, I have a beautiful song I could sing you.
Let me be the judge of that.
I will... He's like, oh, fuck. Goodbye and farewell, you fair Spanish ladies. Goodbye and farewell to you ladies of Spain. For now I am sailed to the Straits of Gibraltar and to the treacherous seas of Cathay. I promised her rings for her fingers, sparkling flowers for her flaxen hair. I swore that I'd never set sail in foul weather, but stay by her side at the shore. Fare thee well to you Barbary merchants, fare thee well to the Spanish blockade, fare thee well to the Straits of Gibraltar and the treacherous seas of Cathay.
One more question.
I forgot what my question was going to be.
She stands very close to you now.
Oh, all right. I have a question. Why did you do this?
They betrayed us. They betrayed us all.
Right, well, I am out of gifts. It looks...
Don't worry, human. And, you're drawn into this delirious state.
Oh.
Somehow you end up on the ground with her on top of you.
Oh, no.
And you just find yourself this fever dream of joy, pleasure, agony, pain, hunger, lust. And then you wake up in the middle of the night. It's the ground has sort of like almost seeped into your clothing, like it feels so strange, as if it was trying to consume you. The mosquitoes, worms have started like work their way as if you've been lying there for a while. And she's gone. You're completely alone, starving. And that's where we'll end the episode.